hot minute yet again. I'm telling you, every time I go to make a video, I'm like, something crazy has just happened, and it's like life is just always happening, always. But that's okay. That's okay. So it's been a little while. We sold our house. We moved into an apartment. My dad was actually with us for several months unexpectedly. And now we are kind of back to normal. What is normal? There is no normal. Anyways, we're in a groove. Let's go with that. We're in a groove. And it is August. It is August 7th to be exact. Wow. So yeah, it's time to get back to the homeschool thing. That's where I am right now. So, okay, I just ordered our curriculum. I know you're like, Mo, we're starting school tomorrow. We are not. We start after Labor Day, but still, like, I kept putting it off and like had to make myself sit down and order it. So I chose our curriculum. I'm crazy excited about this year because I'm going back to my eclectic style of homeschooling, mainly because I have time now. I have not had time in the last probably 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. That's crazy. Anyways, so this video today is going to be kind of a review on what we used last year, what we liked, what we didn't like, some of our favorites. I'm not gonna go too much into what we're gonna use next year because I'm gonna wait and make a video on that when everything comes in, or at least when most of it comes in. So I'm really excited about that though. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so for what year would that have been? 2020 to 2021, we used mainly Sunlight. And the reason why was because a lot of you guys know that I own a gym, and it is truly a full-time job, probably even more than a full-time job, but anyways, lots of hours put in. And so I just did not have a lot of time to lesson plan and really like piece together things. I love doing that, but last year I just knew that that wasn't going to be, I wasn't gonna have a lot of time to be able to do that. So I knew going into the beginning of our homeschool year for that year that it would be better for my sanity and my stress level to go with the boxed curriculum. So the very first year that we homeschooled, we actually used Sunlight, and I'm super familiar with it. I love Sunlight. I love the concept of Sunlight. I love that it's faith-based. I love that it's literature-based. So I was like, for me, really, it was kind of a no-brainer. We went with Sunlight. So with that, we got pretty much all of our subjects. So Sunlight itself creates history, language arts, and Bible, with geographies kind of like built within those subjects. And then they also, because we did a full level, we went with level W, and they also went, like, when you buy a level, you can choose your science, your science and your math to be included with that from other curriculum companies. So we went with, for science, we did Apologia, physical science. And then for math, we did a mix of Matthew C for my, can you guys hear that? Do you hear that? So loud. I rarely hear the people above us. That was like they're shuffling furniture or something. Anyways, so for math, my oldest used Matthew C. My youngest used teaching textbooks, which we had tried years ago. But anyways, for whatever reason, we decided to try it again this year, and he seemed to like it. He did pre-algebra with teaching textbooks. And then we also sprinkled in Life of Fred, like maybe 4 days out of the week on top of the other curriculums. Now, if you have watched, I have a separate video regarding Life of Fred as a standalone curriculum, and I 100% believe that it can be. But as the boys get older, I give them a lot of say in the curriculum that we use because I want it to be enjoyable for them as much as it can be. I mean, you know, some kids school is school, whether they're homeschooled or whether they're in a public school, private school, whatever. Like, I'm not going to pretend like everything is just bliss because you homeschool. It's just not the truth. And I don't know anyone that likes every subject of school. So anyways, another subject, another time, another video. But anyways, all that to say, I do give them a lot of say in the curriculum that we choose. And so they both, for their core math, chose Matthew C. and teaching textbooks, but I still wanted to utilize the Life of Fred. So we kind of just do a little bit of everything, and it worked. So that's what we did. Okay, kind of going back to what I mentioned a minute ago about giving the boys a lot of say in what we use. I did, even for our overall level that we went with for Sunlight, I did incorporate them into that decision, because the way Sunlight is, for one grade or even multiple grades, there's several different levels that you can go with. So we decided together, with mostly the boys' influence, that we wanted to do world history last year. And so we went with level W, which covers world history and also was appropriate for their grade level. So we used level W for both of them. And then for their more independent subjects, they had their grade level specific for that. Outside of those main subjects, really the only other one that we did full-time, if you will, was Spanish. And when we started the school year, we started using Breaking the Barrier, which when we started, I was really excited about it. I hate to say anything negative, but it did not work well for us. A really great positive I can say about it, though, is their customer service was fantastic. I had some questions, and I emailed the company, and I got a phone call back like within hours from the guy that like created the curriculum. So I was very impressed with that. However, unfortunately, it just did not work with us at all. It's very much created for like a traditional school setting. I believe, if I remember correctly, he teaches or even is a professor at a college, and that's kind of how the idea of him creating this curriculum came about. It has great reviews. It works well for a lot of people. It just wasn't a fit for us. So we went back to TalkBox Mom, because we just find that we enjoy more learning through conversation, not so much of conjugating the verbs and all of which is something that you learn, but we just learn it better by just doing it. And so TalkBox Mom was a better fit for us to kind of finish out with Spanish. All right, let me talk to you about the pros that we had with Sunlight. So the biggest pro for me was that it's an all-in-one boxed curriculum, right? I mean, the whole reason why I went with it to begin with was that I didn't have to put any thinking into the curriculum for that year. Again, because I knew that I wasn't gonna have a lot of time, and I was already stressed with the other priorities I had on top of just family and homeschooling. So that was just as much wisdom as much wisdom on my part that I could do for that time. So the all-in-one, just having it like open and go, was something that I really needed that year, and that was the number one pro for us. Some other really great pros is that it is reusable. So if you have multiple kids, you can reuse a level like several times, and that's fantastic. It saves money in the long run, and also you're super familiar with it. So the more you stay with a specific company, just the easier it is to teach it, right? The other pro is that it has great resale value. So when we are done, we take pretty good care of the books and everything that we use. It will resell pretty well. So that's a pro also. It is literature-based, it is faith-based, both things that I love about it. And for us, the history was so fun. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because the boys are getting older. So I totally didn't mention this before, but last year they did 8th and 9th grade levels are where we were last year. And again, they chose the world history. And so we just had so much fun. Like the books that came with level W, I'm really hesitant to not sell the whole level because I want to keep some of the books. They were just that great. Like even me as an adult, like I really enjoyed going through those. And I will share with you the specific books that we loved so much. But yeah, the history was super fun. We all enjoyed it. All right, the cons. Now this is going to be very contradictory to what I just said the number one pro was. But for me, one of the cons is that there is no lesson prepping. So going into this upcoming year, I'm really excited to go back to my eclectic style because I personally really enjoy piecing together what I like, creating lesson plans, if you will. I'm not super like, again, another video, another subject, another time. But I enjoy that. I enjoy piecing things together. I'm kind of a rebel at nature. So like, it's so contradictory to what I just said the pros are, but like for me to just open and go and just check, that kind of drives me crazy. And I want to be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this because I want to do this. So anyways, one of the cons for me actually is that I didn't get the opportunity to lesson prep. Totally my choice and totally aware that that was the best choice for me that year. But I'm very excited for this upcoming year because I will have the opportunity to do that. I'm super excited about it. So if that could be a con for you, take it or leave it. All right, another con is it is a lot of reading. Wait a minute. It is a lot of reading. Let me tell you, it is so much reading, you guys. Like, okay, I love to read. I like nonfiction books. I like fiction books for the most part. But it was so like, there were some days that my voice was getting hoarse. I'm not kidding. And we did not read every book. We did not read aloud everything that it suggested. And it's totally like and this is with any curriculum, but like your lesson plans, if it comes with some, treat it as a blueprint, right? Take what you want to use, don't use what you don't want to use, like all the things. So we totally did that. There was a lot that we didn't do, but even with just what we chose to do, it was still a lot of reading on my part, a lot of reading aloud. And then it was just a lot of independent reading for the boys. They enjoy reading, of course, when it's something that they want to read about. So if it was history related, totally cool. But a lot of the fiction books, they just couldn't really get into. But anyways, all that to say, it was a lot of reading. So really not a whole lot of cons. For the most part, we really enjoyed Sunlight and really, really enjoyed the history, which is what I want to talk to you about next. Our favorite book that we had this year or last year was A Child's History of the World. So we actually had this book. We did world history the very first year that we homeschooled and we went with Sunlight. And we had the paperback copy, actually. I think I still have it. Anyways, so I remember reading, we didn't actually go through that entire book when we did our first year of homeschooling, which the boys were 2nd and 3rd grade. And so this was the first time that we actually went through the whole book and so enjoyed it. The chapters are very short, which makes it really easy to read. Most of the chapters were 4 to 5 pages on average. And so I would mostly read aloud, but then the boys would kind of want to read aloud some days. And it just simplified so well the stories from history. It also, it's written in a child's perspective. So it's cool to hear it like from that perspective as a kid would write. which made it kind of fun to hear, right? So anyways, I liked, number one, it's just written really well. Number two, I liked that it was short and quick, if you will. And we would discuss it afterwards, after we would read. And the stories were so engaging that it was very easy for the boys to reference what we had talked about in the same book the day before, days before, weeks before. And it is written chronologically. So really, really enjoyed that. If you don't use sunlight and you're still watching this video, I recommend this book even by itself to read at night or just add as a read aloud or whatever. This was our favorite book. Okay, the next book that we loved with our history was Usborne Encyclopedia, The 12,000 Years of World History. I love Usborne, period, anyways, but the encyclopedia had great imagery. So it's if you don't have any Usborne books, highly recommend you get some. One of my favorite things about the Usborne encyclopedias, I believe it's most of them, if not all of them, they come with internet links. So, and we used those every time we opened this up, if it had any, which really, it was fantastic to have a visual to go with what we read. So, you know, if we were reading about another country or culture, it often would have video links that we could watch. A lot of them were like BBC videos, but just like to be able, or even images of artifacts or, you know, whatever it is. The video or the internet links were a fantastic resource that we really utilized. And so I think the combination of the book and the internet links was a highlight from our history. Another one of our favorite books from history was the International Children's Bible Field Guide. You guys, this one was amazing. I'll never forget, the first day I read it, I like learned something that even I didn't know. So page 9, this is like literally chapter 1, had a picture of a portion of the book of Isaiah from one of the scrolls that were found in 1947 in the caves by the Dead Sea. See if you can see that. And I was like, what? They just found that in 1947? Like, I didn't know. And this book is filled with super cool facts. It's also in mostly in chronological order with the Bible. And it truly does. It says it on the front, answering kids' questions from Genesis to Revelation. It answers a ton of questions. It has great discussion questions. We didn't always read all of it, but I typically would kind of glance over what we were going to read for that day and decided on, you know, what we would go over. But it was a fantastic book. I personally learned a lot from it. So the boys also learned a lot from it, and it has a ton, like everything is related to, it gives you specific scripture reference in relation to what you're learning about, what you're talking about. So it just fosters, I was gonna say curiosity, but that's not the word I was looking for. Just fosters more education in your faith, which was so fantastic. By far, our favorite one was A Child's History of the World. Highly recommend it. If you don't have it, go get it, use it, you won't be disappointed. The other subject that I would mention briefly is Apologia of Physical Science. We have used Apologia for years, and it's another one of those curriculums. I hate having to say something that I don't like about it. It wasn't our best fit for this year. I honestly think that maybe because we had such heavy literature reading with all of the other subjects, because we would start with group stuff. So by the time we were done reading all of our history and Bible and just read alouds and all the things, then we had to read science again. And by we, I mean me. And I was just often like, no, just, I did not want to read another sentence. And so I think like it took away any excitement, which I don't like science. Okay, let me rephrase that. I like science. Teaching science is not my jam. And so it was just, what was it? It wasn't a favorite. It wasn't a favorite. I really do think though that it was a lot of it was so much reading. Sunlight did provide the science kit to go with the physical science. We really didn't use it that much. Honestly, I felt like the science experiments were some things that a lot of them we had already done before previously, just kind of randomly in homeschooling, or you know, we could look at what the experiment was and the boys were easily able to give a hypothesis and know what the result was going to be. So we pretty much skipped over the majority of the science kits. So all that to say, in a nutshell, did they learn what they needed to? Yes. Did we enjoy it? No, not really. By like not even the middle of the year, we were all kind of like, okay, it's time for science. Like it was something we had to do. It wasn't something that we looked forward to doing. So we're not going to be using Apologia next year. Again, I do have another video coming for what I am going to be using. Works well for a lot of families. And if it works well for you, fantastic. It just wasn't a good fit for us. So overall, we enjoyed using Sunlight last year. You know, again, just like any curriculum, if it comes with pre-done lesson plans or it just comes with a lot of stuff, take what you want from it and leave out the rest, right? So spit out the meat and potato. What is the saying? Something about eating the meat and potatoes and spit out the bones. Spit out the bones and eat the meat and potatoes. That's not it, but you get my point. So Sunlight worked. At the end of the year, we do test by grade level. We're not required to do that in our state, but I do it anyways. And the boys did great. They did fantastic. So they got what they needed, and I am really looking forward to next year. Okay, so when we moved into the apartment building, we are very limited for space. So we no longer have a homeschool room. You know, we were very spoiled before. So we have a closet. So we do most of our schooling on our table and on our couch like we did in the good old days. But I've got this cart, let me show you. Oh yeah. So this cart, it's a rolling cart that I just got from Target. Yeah, I originally got one of those carts that's like the IKEA carts, and it had like the three, and it just wasn't a good fit. So this one was like, it was not very expensive. $30 to $50, something like that. But it's on wheels and it fits perfectly in our hall closet. So I just keep all of our curriculum stuff on the cart, and when it's time to school, I bring it out, we do our school, everything goes back on the cart and goes away, so everything is hidden and nice and clean, because my husband likes a very clean and tidy place. I'm not saying I don't, of course I do. I just am a little lazier, but that's fine. So this is the cart. And you can see it has the little handle here. It's super convenient, actually. I like that this is like it sets in there, so it holds everything nicely. I have some better ideas for organization for this coming year. So when I make my video on our curriculum, you'll be able to see that. So this is the closet. Let me turn on a light real quick. This is the closet that it just fits in right there. And that's it. So I know what my next video will be. as soon as all of my curriculum comes in, I'm gonna do a video on what we're using for 2021 to 2022. But truly, you guys, like, one reason why I haven't, okay, probably the second main reason why I haven't made a lot of videos over the last few months, because the first one is just time and life and just so many transitions and changes. But anyways, we're in a groove. But number two reason is I run out of ideas on what to make videos about. So it would be crazy super helpful if in the comments you guys would help me, let me know like what you would like to see. I feel like I've just run out of ideas. Like, and then the other thing is, I think in my head, like since I made a video on a topic even like 3 years ago, I'm like, well, I already made a video, so that's there. But then I guess like an updated video would be good, right? That would make sense. Anyways, I would greatly appreciate your help in helping me brainstorm on what you want to see. Yeah, so if you will, leave it in the comments. That would be super helpful for me. I would greatly appreciate it because I really do want to make more videos. I have time now. I hired my first full-time employee at the gym over the summer, so super excited about that. He's doing a fantastic job and I'm excited for the future of the gym. But that also really allows me to better prioritize homeschooling and the boys. And here's the truth too, like Bo and I were just talking about this and I'm like, we have 3 summers left with our oldest son, 3, before assuming he's gonna go off to do whatever it is that he's gonna do after he graduates high school. But yeah, so we're just like, we have loved every season of our kids' lives, and it's like the older they get, the more enjoyable it is. Like, I've treasured it all. I can 100% say that through all of our ups and downs of life. Like, that is one thing that I stand confidently in being able to say is that we have really treasured all the seasons of our kids' lives. But having teenagers is fun. And it's ironic because I feel like a lot of people say the opposite. Like, I feel like our culture, you know, kind of says like the teen stage is like scary. We love it. We freaking love it. And seeing them really turn into young men is the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. So anyways, all that to say, like, we are committing the next few years to making the best time of our lives that we can with them. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to homeschooling again and getting into a groove and doing all the things and making videos. I'm gonna make videos. You guys have to keep me accountable. But I really am excited about it. So, all right, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it was helpful. If you haven't already gotten your curriculum for this year, maybe it helped you, hopefully. And if you already have and you made it this far to the video, thank you for that. You are awesome. All right, so comment below. Let me know what you do want to see next and hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and happy curriculum planning. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye. I have everything out because I'm getting ready to post this level W for sell, and I thought it would be a really great way to kind of visualize to show you what all comes with level W. So this is, we've got Bible, history, read alouds, and independent readers, aka language arts books. This is like timeline stickers. We didn't use these, but you can cut them out and put them if you have like a timeline on the wall or whatever. And binder labels, book labels. So if you have more, like we only had level W, but if you had several levels, these are really cool because you could stick them onto the edge of your books and easily be able to see which level or which book goes to what level. And then let me turn to week 1 to show you kind of what the instructional guides look like. Teacher instructional guides, you can see that everything's already listed for you. All you have to do is check off what you did, and then there's even spots for additional subjects if you want to use the guide for that. And the language arts is pretty much the same. Let me get to it real quick. Yeah, pretty much the same. I ended up just making copies of this sheet every week, and the boys could write in it and check it off. So I didn't actually write in any of the instructor's guides for language arts. So these are all clean, which is nice. But you would also purchase a student pack activity sheets, which I don't have here because obviously we use them, but that would come with your level. And then if you had additional kids, you would purchase an additional pack for that same level. But that's it. So yeah, look at all these books. So many books. They're great books though. Great books. One last thing. I am hosting a live homeschool talk on September 12th regarding, the topic is going to be how to create your ideal routine. That's something that I found in talking with other homeschool parents and reading you guys' comments that a lot of people struggle with. And so I am going to host a live Zoom meeting. I am crazy excited about that. I will have the link for you below in the description box. It is free to anyone. So maybe you're like, Mo, I have my routine down, but I have a friend that doesn't. Share it with them. Super excited about it. When you register, again, it's free. When you register, you'll get like a PDF workbook to follow along. And because it's live, you'll be able to chat, ask me questions. I can answer them the best of my ability. I by no means have all the answers, but I have found what has worked really well for me. And if any part of that can help you to be better, then 100% that's what I want to do, is help you. So would love for you to participate. Join us. It's going to be amazing. September 12th. All the details down below.